Nationals offense has been explosive recently, sparking comebacks and powering home runs. Last night, more of the same. After falling behind by 4, they turned it around to support Steven Strasburg's MLB-leading 10th straight win. Today, it's high noon with Tanner Roark right back at it against the Phillies.
Yeah, high noon indeed. There's the bottom of the order. Rendon hot, Drew hot, and Tanner Roark getting the start against the Phillies today. Close to a sellout, if not every seat taken at the yard today. Phillies have lost 11 of 14. The Nats are now surging. They've won 8 of 11 with good pitching defense and the offense so explosive lately. In fact, FP, for the first time this year, the Nats are in the top 5 in the National League in team runs scored, and that's the most important stat of all.
It is, and home runs pretty important too. With the 85, they're just raking up and down the order. They finally hit their stride. Everybody healthy, everybody playing well. Jason Worth has been locked in last 7 days. He's hitting .467 with a .579 on base percentage. Daniel hits Murphy the last week, .350 average, a .435 on base percentage, 2 home runs. You name it, they're locked in. Wilson Ramos having an all-star first half. He's hitting 8 straight, .444 average. Steven Drew, Danny Espinosa, home runs all over the place. They're clicking. It's fun to watch. The weather's heated up, and so is the offense.
Yeah, and the offense now hitting a season-high .249 as well. So going back to Sunday's game in Cincinnati, the last 5 games, walls are crashing down. Outfielders are watching fly balls float out of sight. It's just been amazing for the Nats. Tanner Roark hopes for some of that support today. He's been good against the Phillies this year. Didn't get any run support in a 3-0 loss early, but in 2 starts, 14 innings, only 2 earned runs and 6 base hits. He's 4-4. Looking for number 5 today, so 5's a big number because over the last 5 games, the Nats have been mashing. And here comes game 2 on a hot Saturday. Phils, Nats next.
Brought to you by PNC Bank, for the achiever in you. By Ocean City, Maryland. Let us show you a good time in Ocean City, Maryland. Book now at OCOcean.com. By Dominion. Depend on us for more than energy. And by Mercedes-Benz. The best or nothing. Bryce on the field. He's going to salute his buddies in the bullpen. and take his position in right field. When that bat starts doing big time damage, no limit to what this ball club can do. It's going to be up above the 90s today eventually. First time in the district in 9 months, a 90-degree day. 83 right now. Things heating up down there. And here come the Phillies, Cameron Rupp. No doubt about the fact that he can hack. He's hitting .271, .310 over his last 16 games. Peter Borges, 9th today. And when he plays right field, Pete Buchanan usually bats his pitcher 8th, and that's where Aaron Nola is. Tanner Roark, 3-5 career, 9 starts against the Phils.
Yeah, last start on the 5th, and since he received the no decision, shortest outing of the year for Tanner, just 3 innings, gave up 5 runs on 7 hits, so he's looking to bounce back today through just 62 pitches his last start.
Odubel Herrera in there. Right on time at 12:05, first pitch outside. Herrera was moved into the leadoff spot April 20th. Since then, he's hitting .329. His .313 batting average has him 8th in the National League. Good on base percentage as well, but he pops it up left side. Who's got it? Drew calling off Rendon.
Here's your Nats defense today behind Tanner Roark. Ben Revere gets the start in left. Jason Worth with the day off. Michael Taylor in center. Bryson right. Drew Rendon left side. Murphy Robinson right side. And Wilson Ramos day game after night game behind the dish. And Clint Robinson getting the start at first base. Ryan Zimmerman off.
Yeah, we'll see what Clint can do with 4 ABs today. Zimmerman, Worth getting breathers. And here's Freddie Galvis. Had a base hit last night. His first time up. He's 5 for his last 38. Swing back fastball is inside. Trip Gibson. A couple of young umps on this crew with Gabe Morales. Jerry Lane, the crew chief, at first. He'll have the plate tomorrow. Scott Berry, second base. And a ball out to center field. Michael A. Taylor gracefully to it for the second out.
Well, if you remember Tanner's last outing in Cincinnati, he was elevated with a fastball. The Reds found a million different ways to get hits. A lot of bloop singles in there. Hit a few balls hard, but the first inning key for Tanner Roark, he has a 5.25 ERA in the first, a 6 in the second. And once he gets settled in, gets through the first 2 innings, generally, you know, that's when he locks in and has the good outing.
Maikel Franco is 2 for 8 with 3 RBIs career against Tanner. Right into the strike zone. Phillies now have the lowest batting average in all of baseball, .230. But Tommy Joseph has given them something to get excited about. Making his way through his first month or 2 in the big leagues and doing quite well. Early game notes for you. Joseph, by the way, 2 homers last night. But the Nats have homered in 14 straight games. The franchise record, the 99 Expos. Tanner, very good, as always, against the NL East. Aaron Nola, look at that ERA over his last 9 starts. There he is. Against the Nats, he's 0-2 though. 4.82 ERA, 5 career starting assignments. Roark to Franco off the end of the bat. That'll enable it to fall in front of Bryce Harper.
It's one of the few times you see Maikel Franco take a little bit out of his swing. You know, he's usually swinging from the heels. Last night off Steven Strasburg, he swung out of his helmet. Just kind of reaches out, touches that one to right. Nice piece of hitting. Stays on the slider from Tanner Roark. First hit of the day for the Phils.
So here comes Tommy Joseph. 2 for 4 last night. Pair of bombs. Each drove in 2 runs. He's also on a 6-game hitting streak. 9 for his last 20.
Yeah, he went straight away center last night. And then the one he hit off Felipe Rivera late. Halfway up the bleachers and left.
24 years of age. He'll have a birthday next month. From Phoenix originally. And as we told you, when the Nats were in Philadelphia, he came over with Nate Schierholtz and a minor leaguer in the Hunter Pence deal back in July of 2012. He's put up some big numbers in the minor leagues at times, but he always had Ryan Howard in front of him at the big league level. Not necessarily the case anymore. 2-0 pitch, and Tanner swings it back to the outside edge.
But injuries too. He had the concussion thing going on. He had a number of different injuries. They took him off the roster. He went to minor league camp this year. Didn't even go to big league camp. They went to AAA, started raking. They said, hey, this guy's a prospect again. Let's call him up. Now they're giving him a look, and he's hitting taters.
Got jammed on that one. And reaching down to the walkway there beyond the barrier.
Good numbers wherever he plays.
Yeah, he was sitting .347, leading the International League when they called him up. With the runner on the move, he hits one to center. Taylor right there. Tanner Roark, no rough first inning today. One base hit, stranding a runner. The Nats against Aaron Nola on a hot Saturday. Straight ahead. Nine strikes for Tanner Roark in the top of the first inning. So here come the Nats hitting .249, 279 runs, a +67 on that side of the ledger. Anthony Rendon, one of the big reasons. Rendon, 27 games since the second week of May, on fire with the batting average, slugging, on base percentage plus slugging, 17 runs, 27 games, and Anthony has scored 39 runs this year. Here's Aaron Nola, 23 years of age, 11-6 career.
Yeah, last start on the 5th against Milwaukee, 8-1 winner, 6 shutout innings, gave up just 8 hits, 9 strikeouts, 2 walks. Fastball, curveball changed the arsenal. Fastball averages 90. Got a real good 12-6 curveball. He'll vary the arm angles on him, and the changeup, which he only throws 9% of the time, is a good one. There's Ferris Bueller on the right. Jason Worth with the day off. Max Scherzer intense whatever he does.
Ben Revere, 8 for his last 19. And in the last 4 Nationals games in which he's played, 4 runs scored. Oh for 5 career against Nola, who makes his 13th start. The league only hitting .212 against him. Very good ERA of 2.65, 5-4 record.
How about lefties hitting just 187 off Nola this year?
That's impressive. Good take by Ben Revere. You heard Trip Gibson say ball outside.
Ben Revere usually takes 3-1 to lead off a game, but he's been swinging better lately. Let's see if he's aggressive right here with this count.
Outfield around to the left. He will be aggressive, and it's right at the first baseman, Tommy Joseph.
Well, here's your defense for the Phils today. Behind Aaron Nola, Ashley Herrera, Borges, your outfield. Galvis Franco left side, Hernandez Joseph right side, and Cameron Rupp behind the plate. Saw an interesting stat on Nola before the game. When the Phillies are in a shift, a 182 average against. When they're not in a shift, 267 average against. What does that tell you? Well, it's a guy that hits his spots. If you can put on a shift and opponents are hitting into it, the guy's got good command.
Has an idea of what he's doing out there at a very tender age.
He does.
He runs the fastball to the inside edge on Michael A. Taylor. Michael's still not hitting a ton, but his last 12 starts, he's had at least one hit. And the count's even, 1-1. Later today, the Mets with Logan Verrett at Milwaukee. Willie Peralta. Well, the Brewers really gave one away to the New Yorkers last night. They will play at 2:10 Eastern. The Nats are up 2.5. There's a big hook. Nats up 5 on Miami, 8 on these Phillies. Another hook. Bouncing ball. Nola's got to hurry, throws it high, and Taylor is safe. Well, speed puts pressure on the defense. And we'll see if that's the first knock of the day for the Nats. It should be.
It's got to be. I mean, Nola made this close. I was about to say great play by Aaron Nola, but he, you know, that three-quarter release that he features on the mound kind of got him right there on the throw. Watch him drop down, sails it. He's in a hurry, trying to make a great play. So first knock of the day for the Nats. There goes a no-hitter, Michael Taylor style. Take 1,000,000 of those.
Maybe a pick to click today.
Yeah, got good numbers against Nola, right? Couple taters.
Yes, he does. 6 for 10 career. Two home runs, 4 batted in. Taylor has stolen 7 out of 10.
Who, they changed it to an error.
They put hit on the board and then they change it to an error, and that's why I was hesitant, because we never know what to expect here.
There doesn't go the no-hitter, but they missed that. That's a hit. Is that ordinary effort? Was that a routine play?
No.
Michael Taylor can run. You have to take all those factors into account. It's a bad call.
Wow. And why would there be hit first and then change to an error?
Because you watch the replay and it goes real slow and it looks super easy.
And I make note of this because I watched it for 3 nights in Chicago. It's the first time ever in my career that I've sat in the booth next to the official scorer, who is just to our left.
Yeah.
And FP, I noticed every time, and here's the pitch to Harper low. Every time there was a play that was iffy, he would look at one real speed replay and then make his call. He didn't look at slow motion replays.
All right.
And I think that's the way it should be done.
It's a good take by Bryce. 2-0. He's all systems go. All in on the fastball, dead red, but it's down. That's a ground ball if you swing at it. He's looking for something elevated. And that's how you have to hit off a guy like Aaron Nola. Raise your sights. Look for something above the belt. He's not going to overpower you with a 90-mile-an-hour fastball. So set your sights up, tee it high, let it fly.
Bryce hasn't hit a home run in June. Taking all the way on 3-0. 2 weeks ago, hit one against Adam Wainwright here.
Do you think when the Nats get another hit, they change Michael Taylor's hit error to a hit? Thinking, well, I don't want to be responsible for ruining a no-hitter on that controversial first hit.
On
so
the
you'll
second
see 2
batter
hits
of the
up there.
game?
Yeah. I'm telling you, watch.
I know, but
Bryce gets a hit right here. It's going to be 2 hits. Calling it.
Taylor with a lean towards second, as he always does. That was a good throw. Low and into the runner. Tommy Joseph barely had to move his mitt. No swing, and that's a walk. Bryce Harper walks for the 52nd time this year. Let's go inside the numbers with Jeep. So FP talked about it. Nola's effectiveness against left-handed batters. Haven't seen Chase Anderson yet. Maybe on the next road trip. We've seen Dan Straley. Strasburg on that list, Tanner Roark. So both starters today tough on lefty hitters. Big spot early for Daniel Murphy. Another big night last evening. Last 2 times up, 2-run double and an opposite field RBI double. And look who is number 4 in the National League in runs batted in. Tied with Trevor Story. Only Nolan Arenado, Chris Bryant, and Anthony Rizzo have more RBIs than Daniel Murphy.
Such a simple approach if you haven't seen him play this year. Just lifts up his front heel. That's it. Heads perfectly still. Covers the outside pitch. He'll drive it to left center. If you try to come in on him, miss by an inch, he'll shoot you out of here to right. Has a way with 2 strikes of just massaging the baseball around the field and finding hits. It's been fun to watch.
Absolutely. And I tell you what, after what I saw last night, I'm never giving up on the call of an inside pitch again. I thought he had one a foot off the plate taken for a ball. And before we knew it, it was over the head of Tyler Goodell in right field for a 2-run double. There's a big blow in the 5th inning. Only 6 of his first 16 pitches have been in the strike zone, Aaron Nola. He misses again. 3-0.
He's getting so much arm side run on that sinker that he can't keep it in the zone. Kind of spinning out, front shoulders flying, his arms dropping a little bit, and that sink that usually works for him is working against him here early.
Murphy taking all the way on 3-0. Not that big of a problem his first innings this year. But this is an offense, if you give them free base runners, you will pay the way the Nats are going. That'll fill things up. 3-2 with 1 out.
Well, do you start the runners here if you're Dusty Baker? Daniel Murphy doesn't strike out. Got pretty good speed on the bases with Michael Taylor at first, second Bryce Harper at first. I say yes. We'll see.
And you also take into consideration who's on deck. Ramos hot, 3 for 7 career against Nola. Big hole left side. Galvis creeping in behind Taylor. 3-2 pitch, and Murphy hits a little spinning ground ball over there, and the Phillies will turn a couple. 6-4-3. That's it for the first inning. Promising for a moment. Snuffed by the double play.
It's all about you. Thursday, June 30th. Nats celebrate Ladies Night. Special ticket. You can enjoy pregame activities, including trivia, a player appearance. We're not telling you who. A DJ, a fashion show, all kinds of good stuff. The racing presidents will be hanging out. So you also receive an exclusive Nats Infinity scarf. That one there on the right. To purchase your ticket, visit nationals.com/ladies night. June 30th. Scarf. 100 degrees. I'm in.
Yeah, hope everybody has their sunblock on today and they are hydrating here at the ballpark.
Ski cap, gloves.
Ball one to Cody Ashe, top of the second underway. Just back into the Phillies lineup. 5 for 23 in 8 games. Batting 7th, had an RBI single first time up last night. And he's 5 for 11 career against Tanner Roark with a pair of home runs.
Got 2 pitchers with reverse splits today. Lefty's hitting 197 off Tanner. They're also hitting 133 against him on the year. Just 6 for 45. 10 strikeouts, 4 walks.
Into left. And it just won't hang up long enough for Ben Revere to get there. So the Phillies have a couple of flare hits. Franco to right last inning. Cody Ashe here in the second. How about those Nats starters against the Phillies this year? 7 decisions, 6 wins, 1.93 ERA, averaging 7 innings per start, and the Phils hitting under a $180 against our starters. Impressive. Season series 6-4 Nats. Finally beat the Phillies for the first time in this ballpark last night. And by the way, that all-time series, which at one time was so one-sided, getting closer. Phillies 117 wins, the Nats 96 since 2005. There was a time when the Phillies were beating the Nationals about 70% of the time, and Washington has reversed that in recent years.
Well, there's a time when I first got here when this would be a home game for the Phillies.
Yeah. We took back the park, then started beating them. Ryan Howard. And he has, by the way, 4 career hits and a home run with 6 RBIs against Tanner Roark, but not in there today. He is scuffling. Hitting a $150. 2 for his last 17. 0-2 count to Cameron Rupp. Time given. They're watching the Nats in Afghanistan today. Got a wonderful note from Steve Anderson, Brigadier General, retired U.S. Army. AFN Afghanistan is televising our game live today, so we say hi to all those at Bagram Air Base north of Kabul.
Very
Hoping to
cool.
bring you a Nats win. Stay safe over there, everybody. We want you home. Low and away. 2 balls, 2 strikes. So his numbers against Roark. Trying to get a ground ball here with a catcher in the batter's box. Cameron Rupp, though, big and strong. You make a mistake, he can hit one a mile. He hits one pretty well the other way, and Harper's got a ways to go. Can't get there. Over Bryce's head. Ashe had to hold for a while. Strong throw into second, and the Phillies have second and third. Nobody out. That breaks an 0 for 7 for Cameron Rupp.
Yeah, all the Phillies hits today so far have been the other way, and now Cameron Rupp gets an elevated fastball, bell tied. Look at the coverage. That ball might have been off the plate away, and the fact that Bryce Harper was tracking this. Kodiashi had to wait. As soon as he sees it over his head, gets to third base. So the line moving here in the second inning for the Phils. Couple of good at-bats.
Here's Cesar Hernandez. Tough contact guy. Rendon even with a bag at third, strike one. Hernandez on the road this year, hitting .313.
Guy's not afraid to bunt either in a situation like this and bring it with him toward first.
Pretty big rip.
But you see the location of the fastball for Roark here early, a lot like it was against Cincinnati, right around the belt. When he's effective, it's below the knees. It's starting right at your kneecap. It's sinking out of the zone. For lefties, sometimes he'll start that front hip sinker right at you, run it back with 2 strikes. But right now, so far, he's been up. Trying to slow everything down and get that release point.
And that one buried, well blocked by Wilson Ramos. Up and away. Ramos was setting up like he wanted that swing back fastball inside. Well, it went swinging too far for the hitter.
I don't think this is where he wanted it. He wanted to go that front hip sinker, the one he throws right at lefties, but it works nicely for Tanner Roark because he goes above the zone.
Now here's, pardon me, FP, here's the pitcher batting 8th. So in this situation might work against the Phillies. Nola 1 for 21 this year with a sacrifice bunt. Peter Bourjos behind him batting 9th. And we know why managers do it. A speedy guy in the 9 hole, then your leadoff guy. But sometimes things happen in a ball game where you get caught in between. And it's up to Roark now to get the opposing pitcher.
Well, at 9 this morning, Pete McCannon should have known that there'd be runners at second and third with 1 out for his pitcher.
To the outside edge. 1-2 after a strikeout. Third base Kodiashi led off the inning with a flare to left, and then Cameron Rupp at second. He went opposite field and really hit one hard over Bryce Harper's head. Bryce really shallow in case there's a fly ball his way. Kind of how you play opposing pitchers. On the offside. And now Tanner Roark has to go after Peter Bourjos to put an end to this inning. 2 Ks in a row at a very good time.
Yeah, good slider right here. Nola thought he was getting a fastball away, some late break. Tight rotation, tough to pick up in a day game. Good pitch.
Peter Bourjos hitting a .195. And Roark's got it going, diving away from those right-handed hitters.
Got a good feel for the slider right now. He's trying to go to it in a big situation.
There's the good swing back action on the fastball. So this is the 9th batter of the game for the Phillies, and Tanner facing his 5th guy off the stretch already. Ramos shifting away, and Peter Borges stays alive.
You know, pitching in your division, guys know you. You faced them before. We talk about it all the time with Tanner. There was a thought that maybe he was tipping his pitches against the Marlins. He's made the adjustment. If you watch him when he comes set, he starts flopping his glove open and close. And that's so he doesn't tip the pitch that he's about to throw. So he's going to flop it open and close. Sometimes in a changeup, you fan the glove. Sometimes you do something different. Teams, especially in your division, will pick stuff like that up.
2-2 and a swing and a miss. Ramos had to pick it off the ground, and Tanner Roark gets busy after the single and the double to keep this game scoreless.
Out of a jam. Wilson Ramos set to lead off the bottom of the second for the Nats. We talked on the pregame show about how Wilson Ramos is on pace for career highs in pretty much every major offensive category. To find out why that's the case, you've got to dig a little bit deeper and look at some of the more advanced numbers for Wilson this season. In regards to extra base hits, he has 1 in nearly every 9 plate appearances this year, compared to 1 in 17 plate appearances last year. His walk rate has almost doubled from 2015. And his strikeout rate has almost been cut in half from 20% down to 11% this year. So Wilson's not striking out nearly as much. He's drawing way more walks, and he's driving the ball much more consistently than he has in the past. All of that adds up, guys, to the monster offensive numbers that we've seen from Wilson in the major offensive categories.
Well done, Dan. A lot like Coons.com. Over 2 million vehicles sold, and the number's still going up. That's Dan with a Coons.com sideline report. Ramos 12 for his last 27. He takes a fastball up in the zone. 3 for 7 career against Aaron Nola with a base on balls. Nola had to work a lot in that first inning, even with the double play ball. 20 pitches, only 9 strikes. Way inside, 1-1. Only ball game in progress around the big leagues right now.
And Ramos, after seeing one inside, sees one that he can't get away from it. He is on with nobody out, second inning. Wilson Ramos hit by a pitch for the first time this year.
Well, he hit a home run last night. I don't think he watched it. I don't know if there was intent there. You be the judge. They'll figure it out down there. But I'd say this about Nola early on. He's had trouble controlling that two-seamer, especially to the arm side. He's been running it over there. Wilson Ramos with a little smirk on his face at first, so stay tuned. Who knows?
By the way, a correction on that time on the Mets game later. 4:10 Eastern, New York at Milwaukee. So the leadoff man on. Nats have had 3 base runners still hunting that first base hit, and here's Clint Robinson. Up the middle. That's cleanly through. First and second. Nobody out. And a hot hitter coming up. Another one.
I don't think I've ever done this before. Said there goes a no-hitter twice, but there goes a no-hitter. See if they put 2 hits on the board now. They just wanted that first one to be clean. We'll keep an eye on it. Nice at-bat for Clint Robinson. You see Nola's arm angle, how he just kind of sinks down into it, the 3/4 release. And then Clint Robinson right back where it came from, 101 miles an hour. So it came in, what, 88, went back 101.
Right through the box, right over the bag. And a big spot for Anthony Rendon, who, when he's going well, goes the other way. Approaching the bottom of the order, but you look at the sock right now the Nats are featuring. Rendon 7th, Drew hot, number 8. And that's right up the middle as well, right over the bag. Quite a flip by Hernandez to Galvis on a fantastic 4-6. Not sure Freddie Galvis should have let go of the relay, but he was feeling it after that play.
But you almost feel a certain responsibility to the shortstop when you get a sweet feed like this to turn it and make the highlight reel. Look at Cesar Hernandez with a glove flip. He comes down on the base, jumps over, and just for the heck of it decides to throw it to first. But pretty good flip by Hernandez. Just kind of stayed in his glove a little bit too long, went a little high. I don't know that that was a double play ball. However you feed it to second base, it wasn't hit hard. Rendon can run.
All right, here's Stephen Drew.
Still look cool though, right?
That was pretty acrobatic.
It looked cool until it's in the first base dugout.
Yeah.
And it's not cool anymore.
A check of the runner at first, Rendon, who has stolen 6 out of 9.
Steven's been swinging it. He's looking for something up that he can drive. Nola's looking for something down on the ground.
Stephen Drew, 421 his last 9 games. 3 homers, 5 RBIs. And of his 14 hits this year, 7 extra bases. Pretty big power zone. Nola brings the breaking ball back in, 1-1. The book on Drew is when the ball's in the air, he pulls it. You can tell by looking at the outfield and where they're playing. Pulls it hard on the ground for a base hit. Rendon to third. After Ramos scored, the Nationals lead 1-0. The storybook June of Stephen Drew continues.
It'd be hard for Dusty Baker to get him out of the lineup. Then you got a little curveball right there from Aaron Nola. Stayed on it nice. Look at it breaking down. Kind of hits the top of it, but everything's been on the barrel for Stephen Drew. He's been hitting the ball the other way. He's been pulling it. Doesn't matter wherever you pitch it. He's been hitting it hard. Yeah, that's by Tommy Joseph. Nice piece of hitting. And the Nats are up 1-0.
What a big sequence for Tanner Roark and the Nats. He gets out of a second and third nobody out jam. His teammates immediately reward him for that. He's batting. Is he bunting? Wants to move that runner to second base. Then you never know if the defense has a miscue. Rendon could score from third.
Well, he was coming. It wasn't a suicide squeeze, but as soon as he saw it down, he broke. So a safety squeeze right there.
Roark, one sacrifice this year, one career RBI.
And I think he's got the right idea. Bunt it away from the plate. Tommy Joseph's a former catcher at first base. Bunt it to him, see what happens. There's the mandatory throw over by the Phillies. They have to throw over once. They do. It's a rule to every runner. They threw over on Yadier Molina this year, I'm hearing.
Roark squaring early. Sees that breaking ball going way outside. 1 ball, 1 strike. And Roark switches off and swings away.
Aggressive play.
Yeah. Could still be bunting with 2 strikes. Revere on deck. Good idea on the breaking ball again. 2-2.
Kind of see him ID that breaking ball. There's zombie third base coach Bob Henley. All the sunblock on. Started to bunt at it. Took it. As soon as he picked up the rotation.
Roark, and here comes Rendon. Shovel to home, not in time. Everybody's safe. The Nationals lead 2-0.
Now you could see Rendon throughout that whole at-bat sneaking down the line. Maikel Franco playing in so Rendon could come with him, the Phillies third baseman. And then as soon as he reads this ball down, watch the break by Rendon. He's staying with Franco. As far as Franco goes, he can go. He sees the ball down. Tommy Joseph, former catcher, kind of having a little scuffle with the baseball, getting it out of his glove on the backhand. Maybe if he barehands that and shuffles it to home, he's got a chance. But the speed of Rendon in there safely. Nice execution on a 2-strike safety squeeze by Tanner Roark. That's called helping yourself out.
Yeah, and they just gave him a base hit on that. With everybody safe, top of the order, here's Ben Revere.
That's
strike to him.
That's a sacrifice and an RBI. We might need to go down there and help out. You know, day game after a night game. Maybe he had a long night last night. You don't know. Noon start. See the lights come on. You never know.
By the way, that's Tanner Roark. First RBI this year. Doubles his career total. And now they've taken the hit off the board, as they should have. It's a squeeze bunt for an RBI. Sacrifice.
Yeah. Like I said, quick turnaround.
Hey, Tanner Roark hasn't had a hit this year, but he's real happy with that.
Yeah, 2 strikes. That was nice.
Still only 1 out now that everybody was safe, and a big spot for Ben Revere. Pulled it to Joseph at first, his first time up. And Nola keeps bringing in that breaking ball. He's got such sharp hook on that thing and some drop on it. Tough on lefties as well. So Drew at second, Roark at first. 2-0 Nats. After you thought it might be 2-0 Phils in the top of the inning. Tried to repeat that breaking ball. It stayed outside. Revere hits it well the other way. Kobayashi toward the line. Both runners went halfway. They return 2 outs. Single tracking, station shutdowns, and traffic tie-ups. Even if you don't ride Metro, their safety surge will affect you. Look out for updates and alerts with Mission Metro on WUSA 9 News. Good to have them back with us today.
I have them 1 for 1 in my scorebook. I'm keeping it.
Taylor?
Yep.
Agreed.
I'm not changing it.
Seeking a 2-out hit. That could really open up this ball game for the Nats. Taylor 0 for 5 career with a walk against Aaron Nola. Got a pitch inside. It's going to be a long 2 innings for Aaron Nola, who's about to throw his 42nd pitch.
Well, when you talk to the Phillies about why he's been so successful this year, they all say to a man, fastball command. That sinker of his in the strike zone. And today so far, he hasn't been able to keep it in the zone because it's moving so much.
Rupp holding it there for a while, hoping to frame strike 3. Taylor to left, a base hit. Steven Drew around third. He'll score easily. The Nats lead at 3-0. Michael A. Taylor delivers his 9th RBI.
Hey, nice job of digging out that curveball for Aaron Nola. Watch the release point. Just kind of stayed up a little higher than Nola wanted it to. I guarantee if you ask him, he wanted to bounce this. Taylor with the extension just flips it into left. Big 2-out knock here in the second. And in my book, Michael A. Taylor's 2 for 2 with an RBI.
I'll tell you what, that was interesting. You saw right off the end of the bat, that ball had knuckling action. No spin coming off. 2-out hits. And here's Harper trying to give the Nats a really huge inning. Bryce walked first time up. It's 3-0. So he starts Bryce off with a breaking ball. League's leading hitter on deck. Harper, the 8th national to bat here in the second. This is into the right field corner. Tanner Roark around third, and it just hooked foul at the last minute. Bryce Harper almost cleared the bases with 2 down.
Well, he just tried to stay through the off-speed pitch. Might have been a changeup. You don't see many from Nola, and Bryce out front. Not close.
Now it's 0-2.
I'll tell you what, you try to elevate with 2 strikes against Bryce Harper and he fouls one straight back like that that's above the letters. I don't think you go there again. That was by design, and he almost got on top of that.
Well, you brought this up in Chicago. The Nats did a great job against James Shields the other night of making him elevate, not biting on his stuff, sinking. Talk about home runs and all that, but plate discipline leads to a lot of that. And the 0-2 with 2 outs again. Harper up the middle. That's going to get through for a hit. So here comes Tanner Roark. Taylor stops at second. Tanner lumbers home, and it's 4-0 Washington. Bryce Harper, RBI number 38.
But he's a smart hitter. I mean, you really don't ever get off the fastball with 2 strikes, but he knows he just fouled a letter-high fastball straight back. Exactly what I'm talking about. He knows he's not going to get that pitch again, so you see him stay back on the curveball and go right back up the middle. So probably not all in on the curveball right there, but he's thinking he can't throw that pitch again, so I'm going to look somewhere else. Throws him a curveball back up the middle. Smart hitting by Bryce Harper, and a big 2-out knock here again. I mean, he's fooled, but he's not fooled. You see him stay back, let the ball travel, and just kind of catch it out front, off the end of the bat, perfectly placed. Looking fastball, but thinking, I'm probably not going to get that same pitch again.
Here's Daniel Murphy. So Tanner Roark gets out of a jam, and now his teammates have put 4 runs on the board on 4 hits, a hit batter, a good squeeze bunt by Roark, and Daniel Murphy, the 9th batter here in the 2nd. Great numbers, whatever stat you pick out on Murphy. Overall this year, 375 with runners in scoring position. Murphy verbalizing in anticipation of maybe getting hit right there.
Well, you see that a lot with Daniel Murphy. The book on him is pound him in. He stands right on top of the plate, so he's been hit a few times this year, but you know, he gets out of the way of a lot of fastballs, let's just put it that way, because of where he stands. His hands hang out over the plate. His toes are right on the line. He's daring you to come in there, so you're going to see that a lot.
Two-0 pitch in the air to left. It's Cody Ashe drifting to it. Big inning for the Nationals. 9 batters, 4 runs. Nola right around 50 pitches already. 4-0 Washington.
to smile about. Show you the day of Tanner Roark. You see his glove flopping right there. Maybe you used to know what was coming, but you don't now. So bear down after a single and a double, 3 strikeouts. Then how about a 2-strike safety squeeze? Great read by Anthony Rendon, top of your screen, roaring down the third baseline. But with 2 strikes, Roark clutches up and having a nice day so far. And you just know he's going to compete every 5th day, whether it's at the plate, on the mound. And look at how the numbers go down around the order.
And by the way, that was the 2nd run of the inning, so that was huge. And then the Nationals tacked on 2 more with RBIs by Taylor and Harper. 4-4-0 Nats, 0-3-1 Phillies, top of the 3rd, top of the order. Odubel Herrera pop fly to Stephen Drew over by the 3rd baseline to start the game. And the good thing was Tanner, because the guy's got a couple of hits there, got an extended breather once he got back to the dugout, just trying to settle in for his 3rd inning. 40 pitches, 24 strikes, first 2 innings for him. And now Herrera takes one in the back. Herrera hit for the 2nd time this year.
So it looked like a cutter from Roark. Just grazes him on the jersey. Maybe got his hip based on his reaction. So Wilson Ramos was hit to lead off the 2nd. Now Odubel Herrera hit to lead off the 3rd.
Freddie Galvis fly ball to center first time.
Watch the Ramos home run last night during the break again to see if he stood up and walked to first base. He didn't. He swung, he hit it out, he started jogging.
Galvis, 2 for 7 career against Tanner Roark. And another ball in the air. It's kind of slicing back to Ben Revere for the first out, 3rd inning.
So here's Wilson last night, just in case you were wondering or maybe missed it. On his home run, 2-seam fastball down in, he gets his hands inside, hits it out to center, and this is what he did after. I don't think there's anything particularly horrible about that you're going to say, oh, I'm drilling him tomorrow. So maybe just a couple of mistakes here today. We'll see.
And Tanner Roark, he has hit 6 batters, including the 2 today. Likes to throw that swing back fastball off the plate to try to get it back to the corners, so he'll hit guys on occasion. Here's Franco, dropped a base hit in front of Bryce Harper, his first time up.
And by today's standards, I feel like Wilson Ramos sprinted to first after that home run.
Long way to go for Harper. Foul ball and unreachable for either Bryce or Clint Robinson. Oh, see, Clint's looking for a kid. The guy lost his gear. He got that back, but the kid gets the baseball.
Nice.
Well done, Clint.
Little Bryce with a souvenir. It's good effort with the lid, though. Kept the nachos in the left hand. Strong.
That could have been expensive. And Tanner Roark did what he probably should have. He went ahead and followed through with his delivery. Time given very late to Franco by Trip Gibson. Target away. 1-1 pitch. Franco, a big swing.
I'm trying to think of guys that swing harder in the National League than the guy in the box right now. The hardest I ever saw was a young Ryan Klesko. He used to get drilled just because he swung so hard. When he was with the Braves and he first came up.
Runner on the move on a 1-2 pitch, and it's a base hit. Herrera will scoot to third, and Maikel Franco is 2 for 2. Tanner Roark hasn't had a perfect inning yet. First and third, 1 out.
Well, that's twice that Franco's made an adjustment with a couple of strikes, taking a little bit out of his swing. Herrera sees it right in front of him. Easy read to go first to third. So now another high-stress inning for Tanner Roark. He's up against it again here in the third.
Yeah.
4-run lead, though, a little different.
Meat of the order. Tommy Joseph trying to change things in a hurry. Hit a fly ball, high fly to center field first time. Double play. Clint Robinson right there, and Franco nowhere to go except over to his third base position to start the bottom of the third.
Well, if this isn't tailor-made, just how you drew it up, right, to get out of that jam? Nicely done. A cold one today. Look forward to Miller time later in the ball game. That's brought to you by Miller Lite. Hydrate. Hydrate today, folks. It's going to be 95.
Franco had nowhere to go. Freight Rail Works with our due-up, bottom of the third. Wilson Ramos on fire. Clint Robinson always hits against the Phillies well. Why not give Ryan Zimmerman a day off against a right-hander? And Anthony Rendon lighting it up at home. First weekend we will see 90-degree temperatures in D.C. in 9 months.
So ready for it. Bring it on.
Hitters like it. Pitchers can get loose and feel good, but then they have to stay strong. Ramos' first time up, hit by a pitch. He was the first runner to score when Stephen Drew singled to right field. I mean, it's already 1-1, so why take it any further?
If indeed that's the case,
yeah.
We don't know.
And Ramos, if you watch him, he stands way off the plate as far as any Nats hitter.
Good take right there. That was borderline.
Yeah, that was right into the chicken sandwich, that one.
I just know you don't want a Buffalo to charge. That's all I know. That would not be a pleasant experience if you're pitching against this guy.
They claim the ground used to shake on the plains when the Buffalo were running.
Because if he ever did charge, he couldn't stop. You'd be pinned up against the center field fence in about 30 seconds.
Way outside, 3-1, maybe to overcompensate. Nola pulls it to the other side severely twice. Pretty well placed near the outside edge, 3-2. Aaron Nola, just 23 years of age. He's out of Jonathan Papelbon's neighborhood down there in Baton Rouge. Pitched at LSU. Ramos is going to be called out. He thought it was outside. Trip Gibson rings him up. For Aaron Nola, first strikeout today.
Cubs are coming to town right after the Phillies, June 13th through the 15th. It's the only time they'll be here. Duh. Check out two of baseball's best teams. Tickets are going fast. So to get yours, visit nationals.com/tickets. Cubs are coming to town.
Cubs at Atlanta. Braves got him last night. So Jake Arrieta's throwing today. So the Nats will miss him.
They got him last time in Chicago. He left down 3-1.
Yeah, that was that frustrating extra inning loss, huh? So here's Clint Robinson on an 0-1 pitch. Breaking ball coming back in, couldn't get to it. Cubs are still 41-18. 9-game lead over St. Louis in the Central, 10 over Pittsburgh. This is how good the Cubs have been this year. A team that's 9 games behind them in their division is tied for first place in the wild card race. That's how they've run away from everybody so far.
Yeah, they're 22-8 at home. Is that good?
Yeah. 1-2 to Clint. Base it up the middle first time. Goes the other way inside the bag at third. Clint's going to make the turn. Up with the ball, Kobayashi, and Clint Robinson will stop. He is now 5 for 9 career against Aaron Nola with his 2 for 2 today. And he hasn't pulled it yet.
Well, what you're seeing with Dusty Baker's bench this year is what you see with the Dusty Baker Ball Club all the time. He uses his bench. He lets guys play. He keeps the rhythm at the plate. So Stephen Drew locked in. Now Clint Robinson getting a start today. He's got 2 hits. Then maybe they go to pinch hit somewhere against the Cubs in a big situation, and they've seen live pitching. They've got some at-bats under their belt, and they're successful. People talk about Dusty Baker and the clubhouse communication. We know all about that. I think one of his best assets is if you're the 25th guy, his motto is we're all big leaguers here, and we're not any worse on a day game after a night game throwing some bench guys in there.
Here's Anthony Rendon. Dusty Baker's pinch hitters this year have 16 hits, 8 of them home runs, and 16 batted in.
Because they play. They see live pitching. They see velocity. Your eyes aren't just getting rusty for 10 days, and all of a sudden you get up there, 90 looks like 190.
Pinch hitting batting average is .246, which is very respectable. Rendon, 4-6 fielder's choice on an acrobatic play by Cesar Hernandez, and for that matter, Freddie Galvis too. 4-6, first time up. Is it just me, or are we showing power zone on every hitter these days?
I think we have been for about 4 years.
It has been crazy these last couple of weeks. Anthony stays with that breaking ball and fouls it.
Catches it. Throws it aside.
Aaron Nola about to throw a 65th pitch with 1 out on a hot day in the 3rd inning. Rendon trying to dry his hands and arms out there. Got him. Trip Gibson liking that high strike right now. Rung up Ramos. And now Rendon. Aaron Nola has his first 2 Ks of the game here in the 3rd inning.
Kind of has a rising effect to it when you think about how he drops down 3/4 and the ball kind of has a little late life. It seems like it's moving up. It's not. Good frame by Cameron Rupp. Gets a call.
Mercedes-Benz on the pitch track. And here's Stephen Drew. Slammed a base hit by Tommy Joseph, the first baseman, last inning. First of the Nationals, 4 runs in that frame.
There's your complimentary throw over to Clint Robinson.
So flattering.
I'm telling you, 10 throwovers a game, new speed 'em up rule. You use them, you're done. Run till they tag you. Then you have it on the scoreboard. You say, oh, he's only got 3 throwovers left. Oh, he's got none. We're running. You can pitch out if you want.
Yeah, that would be interesting. Instead of throwing over, you'd have to pitch out.
10 is all
and give away a pitch. Good luck with that one, Mr. Commissioner.
I think it's a great idea. That and catcher's trips to the mound. Here's his home run last night. Like maybe a cement mixer from Jeremy Hellickson. Didn't do a whole lot. And just gets it out of here. Look at the dugout. Bryce Harper, Daniel Murphy, everybody going crazy. Good times at the ballpark when you're swinging it like the Nats are.
The Nats had 5 hits, 2 homers, and 3 RBIs from their number 7 and 8 hitters last night, Drew and Espinosa.
Oh, 2 for Clint Robinson. He didn't just get the complimentary throw over. He got another one.
Clint has not attempted anything off of first base this year.
He hasn't attempted.
In his major league career, he's not ever attempted a stolen base.
He hasn't attempted anything. Not just a stolen base. He hasn't attempted anything.
There you have it.
I love it.
One and 2. And Drew reaching. Bat came out of his hands at the end of that swing. Nola first 3 strikeouts of the day and into the 4th inning. 4-0 Washington.
Here in D.C., not only have we not seen the Nationals allow many stolen bases this season, we also haven't seen teams run on the Nationals at all this season. The Nationals have actually only seen teams run on them 24 times in their 61 games played to this point. That's the fewest number in the majors, and by a pretty wide margin. And part of that's due to the success, obviously, of Wilson Ramos and Jose Lobaton, who have gunned down 33% of attempted base stealers. Part of it is it's largely due to pitchers doing a good job holding the ball, varying their times to the plate, and picking over. That's been a big point of emphasis under pitching coach Mike Maddox. So you add all that up, and teams are largely shutting down their running game guys when they play the Nationals this season.
Over 2 million vehicles sold and counting. Thanks, Dan, with our Coons.com sideline report. Wilson Ramos himself 5 for 16 with help from his pitchers this year.
Well, that and teams don't just run anymore. You look at the teams in the division. Who's the true leadoff hitter? Ever since D. Gordon's suspension, you know, there's nobody. Curtis Granderson doesn't run. The Mets don't run as a team. The Marlins really don't run as a ball club when you think about it. Phillies. So the teams they play, the Braves, there's not a lot of stolen base attempts because in this division, there's no true speed guys except for the guys you're looking at on the screen.
3-1 to Cody Ashe. Roark walks him. Our troop recognition today brought to you by DynCorp International, proudly serving our nation for 70 years. So we're saluting our troops here in D.C. today. As we do every day, and we didn't know we had a Masson affiliate in Afghanistan until today. But
so cool.
So great to have them with us. We understand they have been standing and cheering when the Nats do great things today, and hope we give you many more reasons to get out of your seats out there in the desert.
Well, the Nats are America's team.
0-1 to Cameron Rupp, who doubled over Bryce's head first time. Harper may be a little deeper this time around. That's a ground ball left side. Rendon, Murphy, 5-4-3. 2 outs, nobody on, 4th inning.
Tanner Roark's been getting the job done with runners on today. Now he gets the ground ball. Rendon gets the big hop. Good feed to Daniel Murphy. And look how comfortable Murphy is turning that double play. Why? You don't have to worry about anybody barreling into you anymore. Look at this. I'm just going to stand up straight and throw it to first. I don't have to get air after the throw. I don't have to clear myself because with the new slide rule, there's no fear for any middle infielder now turning double plays. None.
Tanner Roark's last 4 outs on double play balls. The line drive to Robinson ending the 3rd. And he throws more double play balls than anybody on the staff. That's the 10th ground ball double play Roark has thrown this year. Cesar Hernandez. And that's it for the top of the 4th that quickly. And from Nationals Park, the 4th inning of Nats baseball brought to you by the RAV4 Hybrid, all-wheel drive and unexpected performance. Visit buyatoyota.com today, turn on the AC, and go for a ride.
As a second baseman before this new rule, on a ground ball to third, you really had to clear yourself. You know, come across the bag, clear yourself, because you knew a guy on a slow hit ball to third was coming to get you. Watch how Cody Ashley has to slide right in the base, and Daniel Murphy can just stand tall, be very comfortable, turn the double play. You know, there was a fear factor turning double plays back in the day. You knew somebody was coming to get you, but look at this. Slide straight into second. I know there's going to be no contact, so I'm not shying away from the throw. I'm getting something on the throw. Just the way the game has changed with this new rule. Once a ground ball is secured by the off infielder, it seems like double plays are automatic now because the runner has to slide right into the base. I think it's taken away a lot of the excitement from the game.
Tanner Roark, 60 pitches, 36 strikes in his 4 innings. And an RBI squeeze bunt, first time up. Front door with the breaking ball. Nola drops it in.
The ground ball to third, Carp, was the one as a second baseman that you would put your left foot on the bag and almost jump toward the third baseman and clear yourself so that you could have a clear lane and not worry about contact. Now you can just straddle the bag on a ground ball from third or back off or however you want to do it because you don't have to worry about getting drilled. You don't have to worry about your livelihood. I guess that's why the rule's there.
Roark a 2-hopper to Maikel Franco. Geico President's Race moments ago.
What we got today?
They really raced.
They just raced?
5 of them. Herbert Hoover sitting this one out. So Abe was looking real good into the right field corner, but somewhere on the home stretch, number 1, George got him. Hello upstairs, guys.
The Rita Cabana. Jealous.
Trip Gibson continues to like the high strike today. Ben Revere, ground ball to first, fly ball to left. 4-0 Nationals. Third time around the order now. And that one stays outside. Phillies bullpen starting to move around. Nola is due to bat first in the top of the 5th. That looks like Elvis Araujo. And Revere hitless no longer. That's going to be at least 2 bags for him. Ball comes off the wall to Peter Borges. And Ben Revere checks in. He's now 9 for his last 22 in 5 games. Looking for add-on runs here.
This seems like Nola and that curveball today's fingers are on the side of it. Usually it has a lot sharper bite. I don't know if it's because of the humidity here. He's not getting a grip, but his arm angle's a little bit lower than you've seen it in the past with that curveball. And the Nats are taking advantage. Nice piece hitting by Ben Revere, and you get on the side, you kind of get the sweeping effect. You get on top, then it's more sharp.
Well, it's warming up. It's 88 degrees in DC right now. It'll be 90 in the next hour, reaching a 93 late this afternoon. So it's warm and sweaty out there.
Watch your release point. See the spiked knuckle curve, and he just kind of gets on the side of it. See where the fingers are? Now, if they're a little bit higher on the ball, you'll get more sharp with a break, and that one just kind of floated in there, a little rotation to it, and Ben Revere able to hit it.
So the extra base hit happy Nats just got their first one of the day on a double by their leadoff man. Next up is Michael A. Taylor. He's been on twice. RBI single, left field last time. That was a big one. It turned a 2-run inning into a 4-run inning eventually because Bryce drove in a run right after him. So Aaron Nola in what appears to be his last inning, trying to keep it 4-0. So Michael lays off that one, gets the count in his favor. Outfield pretty straight away for him. A lot of ground ball room right side. Doesn't go there much. Three and one. So the Phillies have lost 11 of 14 and 15 of their last 20. Nats just played the White Sox and helped them continue their tailspin. Though they won last night, beat Kansas City. And three teams out west really struggling. Strike two.
It's a good pitch. Ran back the fastball, and from Michael Taylor, you don't want that 3-1. You're looking for something closer to you that you can drive. Throws it again here. You got to commit.
Payoff pitch with one out. Revere at second. And Taylor will pull it to the third baseman, Maikel Franco. Runner stays. Bryce Harper next. And here comes Pete Mackanin. He was trying to get Nola through this inning. Now he'll go ahead and make a double switch and bring in the left-hander Araujo, who is ready for Bryce Harper. So Aaron Nola won't make it out of the fourth inning. This call to the bullpen is packaged by the UPS Store. Stop by for all your printing, copying, and other business needs, because together there's nothing we can't solve. Elvis is in the house, and he's going to face Bryce Harper next.
Ninth is our second annual college rivalry day. With the purchase of a special ticket, you can enjoy pregame activities, get a reusable Nats acrylic cup, those cups on the right there, in your school's colors. Then you can cheer on the Nats. They take on the Mets 7:05 start. Visit nationals.com/rivalry day for tickets.
Bryce Harper and Elvis Araujo. First off, the matchup number 0 for 1 with a walk Bryce career and a strikeout against the lefty. 24 years of age.
And 93 is the average of the fastball slider. Occasional change to go with it. Bryce will see fastball slider.
So the Nats make Aaron Nola throw 82 pitches, 50 strikes in just 3 2/3 here today.
Dusty Baker always teaching.
Talking about maybe something to the right side in a situation like we had a moment ago. And how do you do it?
I don't think so. There's one out. He wasn't trying to move Denver there.
Well, you're right. There was an out because Roark had batted.
He's just always teaching. I think Michael A. Taylor reminds Dusty of himself when he was younger.
Harper a walk, RBI single today.
I mean, you think about it, similar games, right? Run, hit for power, good arms.
And Harper caught looking on a fastball to the outside edge. That ends the fourth. So Blanco will be the pinch hitter, rather already in the game on the double switch, leading off fifth inning. Hot day at the ballpark. Focus back on Tanner Roark, top of the fifth inning. Andres Blanco to lead off, just took over at second base. Blanco 1 for 2 career against the Nats right-hander, who has just thrown his 61st pitch of the day. Daniel Murphy on the right side. Next up, Peter Borges. Next 5 ball games will take us into the next road trip. So tomorrow the Nats will throw Joe Ross, 5-4, Adam Morgan for the Phillies, and then the Cubs are here for a couple of night games, Monday, Tuesday, 4 o'clock getaway on Wednesday, before a 10-game trip, another 11-day trip. There's Joe Ross in there. So the Nats will go to San Diego for 4, Dodgers for 3, and on the way back, Milwaukee for 3.
Well, you rather have the schedule loaded with road games early in the season, because when you're fatigued as a player, last thing you want to do is keep getting on a plane, getting on a bus, staying in a hotel. So the second half of the season for the Nats, you feel like you're going to be home for the most part when you're tired, and that's a good thing. Dusty probably had something to do with that. Who knows?
The Nats will play 15 home games in July. It doesn't sound like a lot, but there's a 4-game or a 4-day All-Star break in there. So they'll have a 4-gamer at New York and then close out the month at Cleveland and San Francisco. So the Nationals will be home a ton in July and a ton in September. 17 home games in the last month of the regular season.
That's where you're on it.
And that's including 2 days into October.
The games that count in your own ballpark in front of your own fans, getting the last at bat.
3-2 to Peter Borges, who struck out swinging first time. Left side, Rendon to his left, pops up, throws him out, 2 down.
Wow. You remember last year in spring training, he got hurt on a similar play, and it kind of started his season in the wrong direction. And you're wondering, is he ever going to dive to his left again? Watch this play and how quick he gets up. So day game, infield getting dry, took a nasty hop at the end, but he knew Borges, who's one of the faster guys in the National League, he had to get up. So fully outstretched. Watch how quick he gets to his feet. Sidearm sling with something on it. What a beautiful play by Anthony Rendon. Doesn't get much better than that.
There's Herrera. And a curveball in there to him.
Based on the speed of the runner, did you get a little whiplash right there, diving for that ball?
That was tremendous, even with the bag against a speedy leadoff guy, Herrera, who has popped up and been hit by a pitch. Remember the graphic we showed you, second time through the batting order? Tanner Roark gave 1 hit to the last 9 Philly batters. That was erased on a double play. A walk was erased on a double play. And now his third baseman just erased a runner. And a good sign for Tanner, he didn't start the game this way. He did not have a ground ball out until the double play in the 4th inning. And he now has 4 of the last 5 outs on the ground.
Odubel's determined to get a base hit bunt down here today. Second consecutive at bat he's tried it. 2 outs and nobody on. He's trying to lay down a bunt.
Thanks to double plays. 9 pitches and then 11 pitches his last 2 full innings. And a 1-2 to Herrera here. And he'll stay alive, which he's really good at. That's why he has a .420 on base average coming into the ball game and 39 walks. 3rd most in the league.
It's a good player.
Hits one hard and high to left center. Taylor running it down. He's in cruise control. And thanks to his defense, Tanner Roark gets his first 1-2-3 inning of the day.
Is a 4-0 lead if you're a Nats fan going to the bottom of the 5th inning. Nats have scored 45 runs in their last 6 games. Tanner Roark with a lunch pail hard hat effort so far. Let's go back to the 2nd inning. Line was moving. 9 Nats would come to bat in the 2nd inning. Stephen Drew's been red hot lately. Then Michael A. Taylor flipping a little 2-strike slider curveball thing into left for an RBI. And then Bryce Harper making the adjustment with 2 strikes after fouling back a fastball, got a curveball. Ground ball up the middle, scored Tanner Roark, who laid down a sweet bunt to score Anthony Rendon. That's where we're at, 4-0 Nats.
Bottom of the 5th, Murphy, Ramos, Robinson, 4, 5, and 6. Double play ball to short, fly ball to left, so Nola had him going the other way twice. Against Araujo career, Daniel 2 for 6.
There you go, you're in a slump.
Right up the middle. Hit number 86 for Daniel Murphy.
Well, if you're watching the Nats for the first time this year, we've decided his middle name is Hits. Daniel Hits Murphy. And he'll drive a ball when he's sitting on a pitch, but I think his ability to massage a base hit wherever this year has been equally impressive. Watch this. All right, you go slider. I'm just going to, a little out front, hips are spent, but look at the extension. Stay through the baseball, and the hit collector does it again.
Right off the end of the bat. So 339 against lefties. I loved it. His right hand came off the bat, looked like he was just wanding the ball up the middle. He said, that's where I want you to go, right there.
Well, the hit the other night in Chicago that he took right off the plate, I don't know. Yeah. That's just, you can't teach that.
Then the next night he hits one a mile high that leaves the ballpark by 10 feet. Wilson Ramos 0 for 1 hit by a pitch, a run and a strikeout. Ramos up there ripping. He's 1 for 1 career against Araujo. Yeah, Murphy was 0 for 2 last night before he went 2 for 4. One slow roller to short. Galvis goes to second, and Ramos able to beat the relay. So they got Murphy on a 6-4.
Did he beat the relay? I did not think Freddie Galvis was going for the lead out at second base based on his momentum coming in hard on that ground ball. Pete McCannon going to take a look at it. Ramos hustling all the way, but watch Freddie Galvis kind of change his direction by jumping in the air, and Blanco continuing the double play, and it was close at first. Are they going to look? No, they're not. Pretty good turn by Blanco to make it that close.
Yeah, Ramos beat it.
Do you think kids in Little League now in close plays are giving the headphone sign to their coaches and from second base?
Oh, I hope not.
I guarantee you they are. You're going to see it in the Little League World Series this year. Close play, they're going to headphones. Check it.
When moms start showing up on each baseline with video recorders to re-roll them or do it with their phones, oh my.
Check out my iPhone. He's safe.
Clint Robinson 2 for 2, and now he gets a lefty. And oh, by the way, he's 1 for 1 with an RBI against this lefty. Andrew Bailey, right-hander, getting warm for the Phils. Or shall I say loose? Nobody's having a problem getting warm today. It's officially 90 degrees in D.C. First time since last August.
You're infatuated with the temperature today.
I've been watching it climb. It's one of those days.
I mean, I feel like we're the Weather Channel showing a baseball game.
Just a little weather, a lot of baseball. You're the weather freak.
Jim Cantori live here from Nats Park. It's 90 degrees. You're just getting ready to host the gala tonight. And you're wondering how hot you're going to be in your tuxedo after the game. That's what you're worried about. Will you say hi to me in the crowd? Will you wave to me?
Well, let's see how it goes the next 4 innings. 3-2 with 1 out. You're going to be really nice to me.
I'm gonna.
The Nationals Dream Foundation Gala tonight. Chief annual fundraiser. All the players will be there.
That's why we started at noon today.
Three-two to Robinson. Little tapper. Long way to go for a bunch of guys, and they never make the connection. Play rather slow and developing with Araujo getting over there, and then he dropped the throw.
He 3 for 3. I mean, he was getting it down the line. I think he was going to beat Araujo over there.
Yeah, he did.
He did. That's got to be a hit. Clint Robinson 3 for 3. I think they just put it on the board. Look at him getting down the line, smelling the hit all the way. So a nice day for Clint Robinson. 3 hits and counting with a hustle infield single. And if you had Clint Robinson with an infield single before the game, you knew more than I did.
So Clint Robinson's batting average in 3 at-bats goes from 193 to 233. That's in the process of getting everybody off the interstate for the rest of the season, hopefully. Anthony Rendon 0 for 2. Runners at first and second, 1 out. And we have another double switch coming, it appears. So Araujo for 4 hitters. He retired 2 of them. And the Nats deeper in to the Phillies bullpen. Andrew Bailey and Anthony Rendon, the matchup straight ahead.
Buddenberger Music Party on Saturday, July 9th at Nats Park. Music from the 80s, 90s, and 2000s is cover bands playing live music from noon to 5. Check it out, White Ford Bronco. You got to be good to have that name. Until June 19th, use the coupon code BUD for a $5 discount. Visit nationals.com/BudMusic for tickets, and you can hear White Ford Bronco. I've heard them. They're great. They are.
From Araujo to Bailey here. 32-year-old Andrew Bailey. American League time with Oakland and Boston. He was with the Yankees last year, and then the Phillies have picked him up. 20th appearance. 19 innings, 19 strikeouts.
A fastball, slider, curve. Fastball average 92 miles an hour so far this season.
Tyler Goodell in right field. He'll take over the number 9 spot in the batting order for Peter Borges. Anthony Rendon facing him for the first time, and it's out of play right side. Long afternoon for the pitchers. Nola gone after 82 pitches, didn't make it out of the fourth. Araujo out of the ball game now. Tanner Roark, 5 innings, 73 pitches for the Nats starter. So a long way to go in this one. Add-on runs would be a very good thing. Rendon has driven in 20 this year, and he slashes one back to the screen.
Andrew Bailey, 2009 American League Rookie of the Year when he was with the A's.
Yeah, 1.84 ERA that year in 83 innings, 68 games, 26 saves. (0-2) with one out. Rendon to right and out of play. Phillies signed him as a free agent last December.
Boy, if you're Dusty Baker right now, you're thinking if we can get a few add-on runs, this one's over. Get it out of slam range. Tack on one here, one there.
Rendon waits for it. Fair ball, left field corner. It hits the short side of the seats. Ramos scores. Robinson to third. Bob Henley sends him. He rumbles home. Safe at third is Rendon, and the Nationals add on 6-0 Washington.
But right on cue, Anthony Rendon gets the big curveball from Bailey, hits it down the left field line, and Clint Robinson, who had an infield single, scores all the way from first base. Watch the send by Bob Henley. Look at him. He sees that ball kind of trickle off the wall down there in left field, and he sends Clint Robinson. So Clint Robinson doing his best Ben Revere impersonation this whole time around the bases. Infield single, scoring from first. Great job by the Nats third base coach. And there's your tack-on run, 6-0.
Rendon, 14th double of the year, third on the throw. He's there with one out for Stephen Drew. Right in there. Drew 0 for 1 career against Andrew Bailey. Both of those runs charged to Araujo. This offense is really chugging. And now in their last 5 games against the Phillies, the Nats have 45 hits. (23) extra base hits with 2 today. And Drew fights one off on 0-2.
I'll tell you what. Maybe the most improved third base coach in the league, Bob Henley. A guy that had done it just at the minor league level for a handful of games. We've watched him study film, get better. Watch other third base coaches around the league. He's watched a lot of Tim Flannery, who's no longer coaching. But, you know, just to watch him, he knows who's accurate, who's got a good arm, who throws people out, who's got an arm that's not accurate. You talk to him before a series, and he's done all his homework.
Drew lifting one to short right field. Tyler Goodell just came into the game. Anthony Rendon, he's coming. He's scoring. 7-0. Cue Bob Henley. That ball was not deep at all.
No. But you're up by 6. You can be aggressive. And Stephen Drew loving the fact that he just got a sac fly and an RBI by the hustle from Anthony Rendon. So the second time today that Rendon scored from third. First on a bunt off the bat of Tanner Roark. He had a great read on that one. And this time, the throw from Tyler Goodell just kind of hops up off Cameron Rupp's shoulder. Rendon screaming down the line again. And the Nats up 7-0.
Yeah, 7 runs with 4 in the second, 3 more here in the 5th. And Tanner Roark up for his 3rd time today. And he gets under one to left. Cody Ashe over there. So against the Phillies bullpen, the Nats come up big in the 5th with 3 more. A 7-run lead into the 6th. Last night, and when you have insight, you know how to handle your finances with confidence. Minor League Insights, PNC Bank for the achiever in you.
Yeah, he just went 7 innings. All he did was strike out 12 against Akron last night. Gave up 2 unearned runs. You see the fastball, curveball, and the changeup there at the end. So we told you when the weather would heat up, he would. Look at since May 9th, 5-0 with a 2.64.
And his manager, our old friend, Matt LeCroy, loves how coachable he is. He says he's passionate about the game, constantly works on his hitting, his pitcher's fielding practice, scouting opposing hitters, and all those things that go into making a young man special. So his AA manager, who's a great baseball man, loves him. 21-year-old Lucas Giolito.
You better love somebody that throws 100 with a nasty curveball if you're a manager. If you don't, you're probably fired. But as we've seen with Lucas, we've had a lot of interaction with Lucas and his family. He's a great kid.
Absolutely.
Better person than he is a pitcher. He's a pretty darn good pitcher.
So it's Freddie Galvis, Michael Franco, Tommy Joseph for the Phils, top of the 6th. Galvis in the air twice, once to center, once to left. 7-9-0 Washington, 0-4-1 Philadelphia. That didn't take long. Strikeout number 5 as Tanner Roark continues to dominate now. He's given up 1 hit since the 2nd inning. Nissan will track it.
Well, we told you the first inning for Tanner Roark, a 5.25 ERA. The second, a 6 ERA. 407 on base percentage in the first, 404 in the second. If he gets through the first 2, there you go. And he had to battle to get through the second. Now he's on cruise control, up 7.
Michael Franco, couple of hits, flare to right, and a solid clean single up the middle. Big curveball, a beauty. Two-2 pitch. He bolts the outside corner with a fastball. Tanner Roark is now retired. 7 consecutive batters.
Yeah, that's the 2-seamer off the plate and runs it back. And he just gets better the more he goes through the lineup. It's because he gets into the flow of a game, obviously. Any pitcher will tell you that. But he's a lot like Greg Maddux in the sense is he sets you up the first time, and you see second, third time through the order, and you just can't think with him. And even up here watching him pitch, you're like, well, he did this to that guy last time and got him out. He'll probably do it again. No, he doesn't. Even if he gets you out, he still goes to a different pitch, a different location. He's always mixing it up, and he's tough to think with. Most hitters are guess hitters, and you can't guess when you're facing Tanner Roark or you're falling right into his hand.
Came in with a 3.21 ERA. And up the middle it goes. Franco, 3 for 3. Tommy Joseph, pardon me, 1 for 3. And now the Phillies box score. So that's the first base hit since Maikel Franco back in the third. They had 2 in the second. Ashe and Rupp went back to back. And in Tanner Roark's most significant sequence of the day, he went strikeout Hernandez, strikeout Nola, strikeout Borges, and the Nats never looked back. They scored 4 runs right after that. There's that swing back fastball. He's moving that thing well now.
But per what you just said, Carp, that's a high 86 for Roark today. So when you talk about the number of pitches he's thrown, everybody talking about 100, the magic number. He's had to. Some high stress innings where he's had to redline. So that 86 is a little bit higher than you would think. And with the 7-0 lead, you're wondering how long he's going to be in there. But he's on cruise control. So that's the decision for the manager. And we'll see what he does.
Second inning long because of those 2 leadoff hits. What really turned his day around, the double play balls in the third and the fourth after he got out of that jam. Now he's 0-2 on another hitter, Cody Ashe. And he'll hit it in the air to right field. Bryce Harper battling that sun. You could see it reflecting off his glasses. Stayed with it. That's it for the Phils. Roark continues to dominate, and so does the offense. Clayton Kershaw, well, he's on his usual roll during the middle of the season. Not so for Garrett Cole of the Pirates against St. Louis last night, a game they eventually lost in extra innings. Had to leave, triceps injury, doesn't sound good. CeCe on a roll for the Yankees now. They've won 5 in a row, have the Yankees. They're 1 game over 500, and CeCe is leading the way. Brought to you by T-Mobile. Bottom 6, Ben Revere, 0 for 1 career against Andrew Bailey. And then a guy who just pulled off the impossible. Michael A. Taylor just got a base hit without even stepping to the plate. They changed that call from back in the first inning.
And I don't have to change my scorecard because I still have him down for a single. They got it right. All right.
Revere in the air, left side, out of play.
So that was the there goes the no-hitter. I think we need to do it again.
Well,
to get it right.
If we ever play a suspended game this year, you can't use it that day. Revere right at Blanco, the second baseman. And here comes Michael A. Taylor. 2 for 3.
Well, here's what we were talking about. Second hitter of the game for the Nats. Pretty good curveball from Nola. Just taps it to third. Nola comes off the mound, gloves it. 3/4 release, aims high. Yeah, a good throw might have got him, but is that a routine play?
Nope.
Was that ordinary effort? No and no. So there goes the no-hitter. I'm sticking with that one. And if they change it back, I can't help you.
Well, they kind of did. Called it a hit first, changed it to an error. Now it's back where it should be.
Right.
Michael takes a big time rib. 1 ball, 1 strike. So the Nationals box. 2 hits for Taylor, 3 for Clint Robinson. So the so-called extra guys getting it done today. Big RBIs in that second inning by Drew, Roark with a squeeze bunt, Taylor and Harper. And then the big blow in the 5th, Anthony Rendon's 2-run double. Then the Drew sac fly.
Well, you half want to run down there and tell them, hey, you got 2 hits already. Go for a homer. You know, everyone trying to check in with a 2-hit day. That's the sign of a good day for a big leaguer. And he's probably up there grinding mentally thinking, okay, I want to turn my 1 for 3 into a 2 for 4.
Yeah, does anybody in the dugout tell you when that happens? He'll walk away. Strikeout victim, 2 out, 6th inning. Now Bryce Harper. He'll face Bailey for the first time. Bryce on base twice today, adding to his .410 on base percentage. Walk, RBI single in the first inning and second inning.
As soon as he hits a home run to left, heads up. Or even to center for that matter.
That's a long list of guys. Espinosa 10, Harper 13, Murphy 11, Ramos 9, Worth 10, Zimmerman 9 on the home run count. And then time given. Long pause before a 2-0 pitch.
And the reason I say that, because that's telling you he's staying through the baseball. He's thinking about going that way, not thinking about pulling the ball. On that pitch right there, you kind of see him kind of leaning back from it. But I think the #1 reason why he won the MVP last year is because he sprayed the ball all over. He took his hits to left. He took his hits up the middle. He'd shoot you out to left if you made a mistake out there. Down the middle, he'd hit you out straight away. But I feel like 13 of his home runs this year have been pretty much to the pull side.
And then the off-speed breaking ball got in for strike 2.
I think it's more of a mindset than a mechanical adjustment. There you go.
Harper jammed, and a pop-up for the shortstop, Freddie Galvis. 1, 2, 3, go the Nationals for the first time today into the 7th, a 7-run lead.
the day. 3 in the second inning. He had first and second, nobody out. Then he struck out Cesar Hernandez, Aaron Nola, and Peter Borges to get out of that jam. A K in the fourth, a couple of Ks in the sixth. Tanner Roark with a lead, free and easy, pound the strike zone, having a nice day. It's time for Toyota K's for Kids. The Washington area Toyota dealers want to help children and their families by making a $37 donation to the Children's Inn at NIH for every strikeout by a Nats pitcher this season.
Yeah, now in 3 starts against the Phillies, 16 strikeouts, 40 pitches first 2 innings, 48 pitches in the last 4. And he faces Cameron Rupp to lead off. Top 7. Rupp 1 for 2, opposite field double, and a 5-4-3 double play ball. Had him reaching. Just like that, it's 0-2. Tanner really on the attack last couple of innings, getting ahead. He has retired 8 of the last 9 Phillies, going back to the Rupp double play ball, 4th inning. Right-hander David Hernandez is up. Their pitching spot is due up 4th in this inning. When they took out Borges on a double switch, they got their pitcher back into the number 9 slot. Then Ramos held it a moment. 1 ball, 2 strikes. There's Tyler Goodell, who's next. Right on the inside edge. Strikeout number 7 for Tanner Roark.
Cameron Rupp didn't like the call. Let's check it out on the Mercedes pitch track. He thought it was outside. Little run back fastball. Good frame by Wilson Ramos. Trip Gibson looking for strikes. 7-0. Roark's been throwing him. He's looking for him.
He's already gone 6 for the 11th time this year. Trying to make it 7 times through 7 innings. And Tyler Goodell against him, 0 for 2 with a walk career against Roark. Goodell played right field last night, had a bunt RBI hit early in the game, and then a walk later, 1 for 3. Brother of Eric Goodell in the Mets organization, 23 years of age, from San Mateo. He was a Rule 5 pickup from Tampa Bay last December. And the 0-2 with 1 out.
But you see how Tanner Roark's thinking out there. He shook off 3 times to get to the 2-seam fastball, try to run it back. Wilson Ramos put 3 for slider, 2 for curve, and then he went fastball away. So Mike Maddox is liking that his pitcher is out there kind of trying to mix it up. Hard to guess with him. What's he going to throw? Saw the camera shake yes on the curveball. They agreed. They were going with it.
And a 1-2 with 1 out. Pretty much been a strike all day, but not that time. That late dip, maybe not seen by Trip Gibson. Even high sinkers will go down at some point, and it's 2-2. He'll go with the breaking ball. Murphy to his left, and it's just off his glove. Base hit for Goodell right after Tanner seemingly had him struck out. Check in on the Potomac Nationals. They got a doubleheader going tomorrow or tonight, actually, if this isn't enough for you. Begins at 5 o'clock against Frederick. All the giveaways coming up, including the Anthony the Ant Rendon figurine giveaway. To join the party at Fitzner Stadium, 703-590-2311, PotomacNationals.com.
I think 3 games in one day is a little much. I'm good.
Jimmy Paredes on deck in the pitcher's spot. If it gets that far, here in the 7th inning, Tanner Roark already a couple of double play balls. Blanco in the air, right side of the infield. Daniel Murphy looking for help. Now he says he found it. 2 arms means no and 1 arm means yes, right?
I don't know what he was doing, but he was doing a lot of things.
Things got a little crazy a moment or there.
Well, he's old school with the flip downs, first of all, but then he had both arms out to his side like I have no idea. Then he had an idea, then I think he had no idea again. Watch this. I don't know. Somebody help me. No idea. Oh, there it is. Fair catch called for. I mean, he's always got so many things going on. Where is it? Oh, there it is. I got it. I got it. I'm okay now. I'll tell you what, that's scary if you've ever done it. It's a helpless feeling, and when it gets in the sun, there's nothing you can do. But look at him point at the ball and then go fair catch. He's so animated on defense, at the plate, everything he does. We love watching him play. Still hasn't flipped up his shades yet. Got him down.
2 outs. Switch hitter Jimmy Paredes. 0 for 1 against Roark earlier this season.
I mean, he's old school. He's not wearing Oakleys or fancy shades.
No statement, just catching fly balls.
He's a baseball player. He hangs over the plate with no elbow guard, no shin guard. He doesn't wear sweatbands. He never goes eye black. So why wouldn't you wear flip down glasses if you're Daniel Murphy? He's playing in like 1984 every night. And we love it.
Shift on for Paredes with Rendon out at the shortstop position. That ball skipping away from Wilson Ramos. And down to second base goes Tyler Goodell. On a wild pitch. And to the right side. Robinson moving away from home plate. Perfect bullet to the covering Tanner Roark, who is waiting for him. Roark goes 7 for the 7th time this year, leading by 7.
Is presented by authority of the Washington Nationals and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the expressed written consent of the Washington Nationals.
Hot day at the ballpark, and Tanner Roark is looking forward to some AC and some comfort in the clubhouse, and why not? 105 pitches, 68 strikes, 7 shutout innings on 5 hits. Walked 1, struck out 7. What a day's work.
Well, you had a feeling after his outing in Cincinnati he'd bounce back strong, and he did.
David Hernandez now for the Phillies, 28th appearance, 2.67 on the ERA, 37 strikeouts, 27 innings with 10 walks, 31-year-old righty, former Oriole, Diamondback, and now with the Phils.
Yeah, 2-pitch guy, fastball 94, curveball 81.
There's that pitch way inside. Murphy turns on it. Jason Worth running for his life in the dugout.
That almost got him. I thought you had a day off.
Murphy into left, and it's hanging up for Cody Ashe. 1 for 4 today for the Nats leading hitter.
What we got working down there with Ryan Zimmerman? He's got a little towel over his head, towel over his shoulders. They're having fun with first base umpire Jerry Lane right now. They're going back and forth.
Yeah, that's a chic Lobaton over there. There's Wilson Ramos, 1 for 2 with 2 RBIs. I guess Hernandez goes up there hacking. Short right field, and Tyler Goodell never took charge in that. He really forced Blanco to go out and make a play. You can fill out your Esurance MLB All-Star Game ballot now at Nationals.com. On your tablet, computer, of course, smartphone. You can vote up to 35 times. So vote today, tomorrow, and often. Nationals.com/votes. Price is going to stare you down if you don't. 2 outs.
Yeah, that's a veteran move by Ryan Zimmerman, Jason Worth, having fun with the first base umpire, because they know they're back in there tomorrow, and they know Jerry Lane has the plate. So they're trying to work calls right now in a 7-0 game for tomorrow. But that doesn't work that way. I mean, they'll chat with you, ask how the wife and kids are doing. You're talking to them on the bases. Then they get behind the plate the next day. They totally change, and it's, You're like, wait, you were my friend yesterday. You asked how my kids were doing, and now you're ringing me up on a ball 5 feet outside.
1, 2, 3 go the Nats in the 7th inning. To the 8th. Washington bullpen. The rest of this day looks like Sammy Solis on the way.
Out of the Capitol building. Nats up by a touchdown as we head to the top of the 8th inning. They're almost done with the renovation, right? Please,
scaffolding coming off.
Tell me, scaffolding coming off. Time for Lowe's home field advantage. Check out Jonathan Papelbon's numbers, home versus road. Loves the white uni, 8 for 8. ERA below 1. Opponent's average 147 on the road. Kind of a different story.
Got the save last night. 16 out of 18 this year for Jonathan. 365 career. Here's Sammy Solis. Things really coming together for him.
Yeah, watch the tempo of Sammy Solis. Every reliever in baseball should take note, and this is how you should pitch tempo-wise out of the bullpen.
Herrera 0 for 1 against the Nats, 27-year-old lefty.
A fastball for Solis in the mid-90s.
Odubel Herrera, a couple of fly balls hit by a pitch in between. I'll give you his series numbers after this at bat. Big swing.
Sammy's last outing was that gem in Cincinnati on the 5th. He went 3 innings, gave up 1 hit, allowed no runs, struck out 6 Reds. We're just getting it, throwing it, pounding the strike zone in a day game when the ball was flying, and he didn't care.
1-2 pitch. Line drive. Murphy had it, then it got away from him. They're going to give him a base hit on an effort to Murphy's right. So Herrera, first hit of the series in 8 plate appearances.
Well, ball hit hard, but if you ask Daniel Murphy, he'll tell you he catches these usually. Low line drive, kind of takes a step to the backhand. Probably hitting a spot in his glove where it didn't stick, obviously. Maybe some topspin on there late, or it could have been knuckling. Who knows?
Leadoff man on. Here's Freddie Galvis. Galvis this year from the right side, struggling at 208. 30 points better from the other side of the plate. And he's 0 for 3 today. Run right back to Murphy. Drops that one. Gets the lead runner. So a 4-6 on the fielder's choice.
Well, Taylor made double play. Even though Galvis can run, it's hit hard enough. You see it take a hop that made him go towards second base at the end, and that threw him off. Stayed with it, got the out. Nobody hurt.
Michael Franco against Solis, 0 for 1. Yeah, when Sammy Solis comes into the ballgame, things happen quickly. There's a wild pitch that gets away from Wilson Ramos, wickedly breaking to his left.
Did he get crossed up with the runner on first? Kind of seemed like it. What's Michael Franco got going on here? Wants a different bat? All right. The 1-0 bat.
Franco, a couple of hits today. Struck out last time by Roark. And that one, the changeup, floats outside 2-0.
You know, every now and then you're in the middle of an at-bat and you have your hands on the handle and you're trying to get some pine tar and you reach for the pine tar and you see a hairline fracture in your bat. I think that might have happened with Franco. You don't even notice it in the on-deck circle and you're standing in the box with a broken bat from the previous time.
And 3-0 in there. Just a little bit outside. So 2 on 1 out, and with more on Sammy Solis, here's Dan.
Bob, a couple base runners on here for Sammy, but he's been really good this year with his mechanics, and that's kind of tied into his health. He went into last spring not totally healthy, had been told he might need another Tommy John, and so he was kind of afraid to go with his normal low 3/4 arm slot because of the strain it puts on his elbow. This spring, he came into the year totally confident that he was healthy. His arm slot is back down into that low 3/4, and his off-speed stuff has been a lot more consistent as a result.
On 94, a swing and a foul straight back by Tommy Joseph. So he sees Sammy for the first time.
Be careful right here with this guy.
And Nats had a big lead last night. Joseph made a 9-4 game, 9-6, and he had driven in 2 earlier with a long ball. Sammy dropping 80 under his bat, down and in. Nice pitch. Second base Galvis, first base Franco. Good speed for the Phils. Strike 3 call. 2 outs on the 8th strikeout today by the Nats staff. Nissan will track it.
Well, 3-pitch see ya, get it and go. Fastball, curveball, fastball. You see the fingers on top, the rotation, the spin on the baseball, and perfectly planted on the inside corner.
And Murphy gets that one. What an interesting inning for Daniel Murphy. And he caps it off with a very fine play and a good pick on the back end by Clint Robinson.
I mean, that whole inning for Daniel Murphy was like a short story. A ball in the sun, a couple grounders, and then a web gem to end it. Nicely done. Wow.
Miller time brought to you by Miller Lite, and a lot of things going on with the Nats defense today. And that, it was funny, you brought up spring training last year. First thing I thought of when I saw that play by Rendon.
Hey, well, there's a lot of things going on in that play. We promised you early in the game it's Miller time. That's brought to you by Miller Lite, your Miller moment. So a nice play by Anthony Rendon. And then Daniel Murphy, you're at an adventurous inning. Fly ball in the sun, line drive that kicked off his glove, a ground ball that kicked off his glove. Then he makes an unbelievable play to end the inning. So he puts his hat on sideways. And runs into the dugout.
Bottom of the 8th, Rendon drew. And then we'll see who hits for Sammy Solis. Maybe nobody. Sammy's gone more than one inning a couple of times lately. And he just threw 15 pitches, 9 strikes. Anthony Rendon, 1 for 3, 2-run double today. And against Hector Neris, 1 for 1 career. So Neris, 32nd appearance, 40 Ks in 32 innings. 26-year-old right-hander. One ball, one strike.
Like trying to get hot. That play Rendon made, there was so much going on. Day game, the infield gets a little bit more firm because of the sun baking the dirt. So he had that last top spin off the dirt. So that made the ball pick up speed. Then he had to get to his feet quickly because of the speed of Borges and then the throw. That'll be one of the better plays you see all day.
Rendon has 22 RBIs on the year. They took a 4-0 lead, made it 6, and he takes that one right in there. By the way, the Nats haven't had a hit since Rendon's drive back in the 5th inning. Single tracking, station shutdowns, and traffic tie-ups. And even if you don't use the Metro here in D.C. and in the surrounding area, their safety surge will affect you. Look out for updates and alerts with Mission Metro on WUSA 9 News.
How cute is that little girl right there? There's a lot going on in D.C. this weekend, so
I think it's every weekend, isn't it?
give yourself some time.
Yeah. One pitch and a fastball up and away. Steven Drew 0 for 2 career against Neris, but another great day for Steven. Base hit, sac fly, 12 RBIs now, and most of them lately. In the air to right, near the foul pole, and just a couple of feet from being another home run.
Whoa.
That thing got out there and kind of stayed straight. Didn't have that much hook on it. And didn't miss fair in the mezzanine by much.
Well, obviously, Fowler, you see Steven Drew going crazy right now. Davey Lopes would be going nuts. They had the best view of it, but Steven Drew, a dangerous hitter. And he's had success against the Phillies. One of those an inside the park home run at Citizens Bank.
(3-2) way inside. That's first base runner in 3 innings. And that'll bring in pinch hitter Chris Heisey. This is the right-handed bat off the bench that has done great things. 3 for 12 as a pinch hitter, all solo home runs. Those are his overall numbers. And he's walked in his only plate appearance against Hector Neris. Base hit, So his first non-homer as a pinch hitter. And Chris Heisey will cruise into second base with a double, second and third, and still coming home. Stephen Drew out by plenty. .752 on that relay.
Well, that surprised me, and I think Bob Henley was trying to surprise the Phillies. So a lousy double for home run Heisey. But you watch Henley getting deep right here. You see the play develop, and
they missed the first cutoff guy.
And taking chances up by 7 runs. So scratch everything I said about Bob Henley earlier.
We know you don't mean that. Good swing by Heisey. He's at second base with 2 outs.
He was one of the better teammates I ever had. He was a good rookie. He listened to veterans. Speaking of Henley.
Ben Revere 1 for 4. Double 4th inning. Warming things up out of that leadoff spot. 9 for his last 23. And by the way, Cody Ashe originally came up as an infielder, so not a true outfield arm out there in left. And Henley took advantage of him once today. Revere right up the middle, and that'll get through. So easily home is Heisey, and the Nationals lead 8-0. And Ben Revere turns it into a 2-for-5 day.
You know, a salvage is an 0 for 3 into a 1 for 4, but a 1 for 4 into a 2 for 5 is a super salvage because now you got a 2-hit day under your belt. Pretty good effort by Freddie Galvis, down 7-0. You like to see that if you're Pete McCannon.
The Nats now 8 runs on 12 hits.
The Nats are hot.
Well, they're about to win their 9th game in their last 12. And Taylor looks at a strike. Michael A. 2 for 4 today. Infield hit first inning. Left field hit for an RBI second inning. Pretty good hack. And he corks one to left center. That was a loud sound. That's got to be cut off or Revere scores. And he will stop at third. So the Nats just keep on hacking here, and Bryce Harper will get one more at bat.
Boy, that's a nice piece of hit, and I think that's the split from Neris, and Michael Taylor let it get deep for his 8th double of the season. So a 3-hit day for Michael A. Taylor. There's the split. See the release point, fingers wide, letting it get deep. Head to the baseball. Michael A. Taylor's heating up, folks. Look out. You remember he came out of spring training locked in, then had a rough start with Ben Revere on the DL, and all of a sudden you're seeing the Michael A. Taylor you saw in Florida. I think he just needs some back-to-back starts. I don't know how many times this year since Ben Revere's back that he's had back-to-back starts.
Yeah. Well, Phillies throwing a lefty tomorrow. Adam Morgan.
Well, they're throwing the neighborhood. That's his nickname here, the neighborhood. Or Northwest.
Harper 1 for 3, a walk, an RBI single against Neris. One plate appearance, a base on balls earlier. Way inside. Last time Hector Neris faced the Nats, he was all over the place. And today he's retired 1 out of 5 batters, a walk and 3 straight hits. Two to Harper. Look out here. Hot shot. Almost took Blanco into right field. He made the spin and made the throw. So the Nats add another on a Ben Revere RBI, and into the 9th. It's 8-0. Brought to you by Navy Federal Credit Union, proudly serving the armed forces and their families for over 80 years. Federally insured by NCUA. By Airlines for America, where airplanes land, opportunity takes off. And by your local Kia dealers. Visit dckiadealers.com to learn more.
So last year's All-Star hats, this year's are half white, half red with stars on the front. Pretty cool.
Interesting. Top 9. Well, the only thing that doesn't work out for the Nats today is to continue that team home run streak. But when you have 8 runs on 13 hits, who cares? Blake Trinan against the Phils here. First up, Cameron Rupp. Chris Heisey, right field. Bryce gets a half-inning breather. Johnny Holiday and Ray Knight out in left field trying to stay cool. They got their canopy working, the fans and all that, and it's the Nats Extra postgame show presented by WB Mason when this one's over.
Ray's always cool. Johnny,
It's hard to take the GQ out of Johnny on these 90-degree days, but he bucked up and put on the golf shirt today. Cameron Rupp 1 for 3 with a double. He's also 1 for 3 career against Blake Trinan. He's come out throwing strikes 1 and 2. 94 with wicked sink.
2-2 pitch. Got him on the outside edge. Tomorrow afternoon, a little later, have a 4 o'clock start here. Joe Ross, 5-4. He's 2-0 with 1 earned run in a couple of starts, by the way, against the Phillies this year. And the lefty Adam Morgan will be pitching for Philadelphia. Nats got 6 runs, 9 hits, and 6 innings against him 10 days ago. So Nats extra 3:30 tomorrow. A 4:05 start to wrap up this series, and the Nationals looking to sweep. Tyler Goodell right back to the pitcher. On an 0-1 delivery, Blake Trinan. To Robinson, 2 outs. Great crowd today, a sellout, 38,044 announced. A lot of the folks after the early innings had to move back upstairs under the shade a little bit. Can't blame them at all for that. It'll be sizzling here tomorrow as well, just like the Nats are about to win their 9th game in their last 12. The hitter Andres Blanco. And we are just into the 3 o'clock hour here. Ryan Howard, if it continues, to the pitcher's spot. He and Carlos Ruiz, the only 2 left on the Phillies bench.
A real nice effort from Tanner Roark here today. Just the blue collar, hard hat, lunch pail guy that he is. Got out of that jam in the 2nd inning. Similar in the 3rd with that line drive double play. Got into his rhythm from there on out, and little run support from his offense, and nicely done.
1-1 pitch. Now a strike away from their 38th win of the year. The Nationals on the verge of another mini milestone. They've never been 14 over, and trying to step there. The 1-2 delivery. Swing and a miss, and it's over. The Nationals now have 17 wins at home, 21 on the road, and they are 38-24 on the season. 8 runs on 13 hits, outstanding pitching. Roark and the bullpen. 8-0 shutout of the Phils.